Hey everybody. It's really funny because I can't even make this up. I have like over hundreds of cards. That between the four decks, I have hundreds of cards, and that it's just so interesting to me that I can pull cards and it's almost as if like they were themed together. Like all of these cards look like they're meant to show up together, and I just pull randomly from the decks like the card that feels right. It's so interesting to me, the messages that come through the cards just naturally, and I feel it feels synchronistic. I feel spirit with me, like really just I have a message, I want to share it, and the message becomes even more clear when you use four different decks and you somehow get all the same color profiles, all the same like ideas behind them, and reasons that they go together, and it's just it's interesting and cool, I think. So I'll start with the Fool. It's the first card of the Major Arcana. So the traditional tarot deck is set up with the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. And the Minor Arcana are likened to the things that are affecting the everyday physical reality. The Major Arcana are more the like spiritual story of the evolution of you as the soul being that you are. So the Fool being the 0 card, and with this this picture, I feel like it just describes it really lovely. A lot of times the Fool card is a person and sometimes their dog literally just about to walk off of the cliff, just like this little baby bird is about to jump off of the branch for the first time. And the thing about the Fool is, like, when you step off of this branch, you either fly or you don't. And so it's not a card of like telling you exactly where you're going to go, but it's a card of telling you that you're ready to take the step in order to go in a direction, whether you know where it's going or not. And it's jumping into the unknown, and it's like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to flap your wings and work as hard as you can to fly and learn how to fly and build these muscles? Or are you gonna fall and splat on the ground? It's really up to you. Like, the power is always in our own hands, and it's always, I mean, there are factors against us, but we have the power to work hard and flap our wings. So me deciding like whether I'm going to, it just feels really personal to me, and hopefully it still connects with everybody else, that I'm in this path of like, do I go out and put in work to go work for somebody else, or do I put a gamble on myself and my business and try and do what I want to do, what I'm passionate about doing, but don't necessarily, like, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna get a paycheck, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna get clients, you know, but I'm still taking a gamble on myself because I've built up the confidence to know that I can do this, and I do this. I'm doing it every day or every other day when I pull cards for people. So are you ready to fly? Next, Black just says dark below it, and I find it's a very interesting thing. There's a lot of people will have a negative connotation to the darkness, a fear of the darkness. A lot of people think that dark is the opposite of light, and I don't personally subscribe to that. I subscribe to the idea that darkness is a complement to light. You need darkness and you need light. Both are just two sides of the same coin, essentially. So darkness is super in line with the Fool card. It's the bottom half of the Fool card. It's that unknown area that you're jumping into. Darkness is not a negative thing. It can be something that you're afraid of. particularly in this current culture, we are definitely afraid of the unknown. We want to know how everything's going to turn out. We want to know how everything's going to go. We want to know what's happening and how we can work through it. Sometimes you just don't get to know. Sometimes you have to get into the deep dark pool and not know what's at the bottom of it, but you choose to swim in it anyways. And I feel like that's the unknown, you know? You don't know because it's unknown. you have to work with the unknown, and you have to trust, and you have to have belief and faith in something, and you have to acknowledge that the darkness isn't something to be afraid of. It's just a different part of life. It's a complement to light. It helps you realize the light. The more you sit in the darkness, the more you appreciate the light. So you can do that. And then, like, along with the darkness, an animal that exists in the dark and does really well in the dark and usually maneuvers in the dark because it's safer to maneuver in the dark. The mouse. Mouse is interesting and an extra special card for me because the mouse has been likened to the god Apollo in the Greek mythology. I have always had a thing for Greek mythology since I was a little kid, and I don't know why. It was just something that I was really into. I learned that my name was a name in Greek mythology of Cassandra, who was the god Apollo fell in love with Cassandra, and he promised her the ability to see the future. And she turned him down, and so he cursed her. He cursed her with the ability to see terrible events in the future, but that no one would believe her. And I've known about that mythology since I was a little kid, and it's been really interesting how it plays out in my life. Being a spirit person, a person who I've had visions and I've seen things happen before they happened, and I don't talk about that much because it's a touchy subject, because I don't like to look into the future necessarily. I don't like to, it's just something that has happened from time to time. I've seen a vision, and then years later, sometime later, I'm like, whoa, I totally have seen this before, and I just didn't think it was anything until it became true in the physical reality. Whatever, that's a side note. But this mouse mythology is interesting to me because Apollo was a god of healing and also a god of plague, and I feel like the darkness can be that. Like maneuvering through the darkness can be healing, or it can feel like a plague. It can be really scary, it can be deadly, and it can bring death to your ego, death to so many instances in life, you know? Like the darkness is like, it's this unknown darkness, and the mouse maneuvers through the darkness well. The mouse maneuvers, let me see what I wrote down about the mouse. So they burrow, and so they're like one with the earth, which is like really interesting about mice as a real animal and their symbolism, how that ties into the symbolism of this is being really grounded, maneuvering through the earth and moving through the darkness. They're cleanly animals, though they are known to bring plague. It's not necessarily them that brings the plague, it's the mites or the diseases that are on them, but them themselves are clean animals who take care, they upkeep their spaces, they take care of themselves. It's a reminder to conserve your resources and energy. Like a mouse stows things away for later, you know, because you never know when you're gonna go hungry. Want to conserve those resources. I'm feeling the mouse energy. I'm moving through the darkness. I'm conserving my resources. I'm working on the things that mean something to me, and they connect with each other, you know, like they live in familial groups. They take care of the young, you know. Cool animals. Rutilated quartz, again, A few days ago, I think I pulled this, and now it's back to reaffirm the same message that it had before, which is basically the time is now. The time is now. That is what Rutilated Quartz is all about. What are you doing? What are you doing to follow the paths that you love, the things that you're passionate about? Make time for the creative work that feeds you. Get clarity on what you enjoy doing. It's quartz, so it's a clear stone. It's a transparent stone, but it has these sharp lines through it, and those to me are the essence of now, like the work that needs to be done and the effort that needs to be put in order to manifest your goals. Yeah, amplifying is also an amplifying stone, so it's like, get your goals, put them out there. Get right with yourself and put yourself out there, and trust that things will come back when you're putting out what you want. I'm really loving these cards. Tell me that they don't work together. Look at this. I love this. See, this is the work I want to do. This is the stuff that I love doing. So I appreciate you if you are watching this, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me, and I'll see you soon.